Okay, so real talk for a sec.
Hmm.
Anyone else kind of sort of freaked out about AI, like coming for our jobs?
Oh, it's definitely the hot topic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And rightfully so. I mean, look at what the OECD just said. High-skilled jobs are on the line.
It's not just like robots on factory floors anymore.
Nope. Now AI is writing code, making art. It's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, is my job actually safe?
Exactly.
Which brings us to today's deep dive. We've got reports, articles, even some spicy social media debates all circling around one big question.
Should we or shouldn't we be putting stricter regulations on AI to protect jobs?
It's a massive question.
Huge implications and frankly, no easy answers.
Nope, not at
Yeah.
all.
But hey, let's at least try to unpack it, right?
Right.
So first up, those folks pushing hard for more regulation.
The pump the brakes crowd.
Yeah, their core argument is without some serious guardrails, we're looking at massive unemployment and pretty darn quickly.
And it's not just about like the numbers, right? It's about people's lives.
Exactly.
People needing time to adapt, to reskill, to figure out where they fit in this whole new world.
Right, like think of it as building a bridge.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
A bridge between the old way of working and this new AI-powered way.
But without that bridge, uh-oh.
A lot of folks are gonna to fall through the cracks.
Yeah, and they point to some pretty compelling examples like what Germany's been doing with their pilot program.
Right, they regulated AI in factories.
And get this, companies and unions actually worked together on retraining workers.
They did.
Employment stayed stable, productivity even went up like 15%.
It's proof that regulation doesn't automatically mean like stifling innovation.
Right, it can actually make it more sustainable for everyone involved.
Businesses and workers, but of course there's the other side of the coin.
Always is.
This whole camp pushing back hard against strict regulation.
Yeah, they're worried about holding back innovation.
And falling behind globally, in that AI race everyone's talking about.
It's that classic don't tie our hands argument.
Right. Like, while we're busy writing rules, someone else is going to zoom past us.
And we'll be stuck playing catch up.
Exactly. Their argument is AI has this enormous potential, to boost the economy, to create whole new industries.
Like the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and they're saying overregulation could kill all that before it even gets started.
And their point is AI isn't just about replacing jobs.
It's about creating new ones.
Right. So think developing AI, maintaining it, ethical oversight.
All that.
Things we probably can't even imagine yet.
And their argument is that new job creation, that'll offset the jobs that are lost.
So in the end, a net positive for the economy.
Right. The classic pro-growth argument.
Let the free market do its thing.
Exactly. Innovation will lead to more opportunities.
And the people who adapt, they'll be the ones who thrive.
But, and this is a big but, what about the people who can't adapt as quickly?
Yeah, that's the tough part, isn't it?
Do they just get left behind? It's this tricky balance.
Protecting people's livelihoods on one hand, and on the other, unlocking all this potential economic growth.
And this isn't just some abstract policy debate. This is happening right now.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere.
In people's daily lives, like you see it on social media, you hear it at dinner tables, in the break room at work. It's inescapable.
It really is. Just look at that hashtag on X, hashtag AI regulation job.
Oh, yeah.
It's a total mixed bag.
It is. Some people are terrified of losing their jobs.
Yeah.
Others are like totally hyped about the opportunities AI is creating.
Yeah, and it's not just regular folks chiming in.
You've got like tech CEOs, painting this super rosy picture.
AI is going to create jobs. Everything's going to be amazing.
All right, and then you've got labor leaders. They're ringing the alarm bells.
Mass unemployment. The robots are coming.
It's like we're watching two totally different movies at the same time.
And we're all just trying to figure out which one's closer to reality.
Which is exactly why this conversation matters so much. It's not about picking a side. It's about understanding all the nuances.
Right. The potential pitfalls.
The possible paths to a future where AI actually benefits everyone.
Not just a lucky few.
Exactly.
And to do that, we gotta zoom out a bit.
Yeah.
Look at the bigger picture. Like, what are the long-term effects of AI?
Right, with and without regulation.
Yeah, what are the possible scenarios playing out here?
Now, that's where things get really, really interesting. And maybe a little bit scary.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. What are we looking
Uh-huh.
at?
Because depending on the choices we make now,
Yeah.
we could be headed towards some very different futures.
Okay, so best case scenario,
Yeah.
and the one that keeps you up at night.
All right, well, let's start with the optimistic one. Imagine a world where AI is, carefully regulated.
Mm-hmm.
It's brought into the workforce in a way that actually supports human workers.
So it's not AI versus humans.
Right.
It's AI with humans.
Precisely. Think of it as a collaboration.
Okay.
AI handles all those repetitive tasks.
The boring stuff.
Yeah, or the dangerous stuff.
The stuff that no one wants to do.
Right, so that frees humans up to focus on what we're good at.
What makes us us?
You got it. Creative problem solving, critical thinking, building relationships,
The human stuff.
human stuff.
Okay, I like that picture. But flip side,
Okay, yeah.
what if AI keeps advancing at this crazy speed, but without any real rules?
Yeah, that's where things get a little dystopian.
Oh no.
We could be looking at widespread job losses, like on a scale we haven't seen before.
Oh wow.
So mass unemployment, social unrest, economic instability. It's a scenario that could push us towards solutions like universal basic income,
Just to keep society afloat.
just to keep things functioning.
Wow. Those are some pretty stark contrasts. So it seems like the stakes are pretty high here, and this is way bigger than just one country, right?
Oh yeah, it's global.
This is a worldwide conversation.
Absolutely. And different countries are taking wildly different approaches to AI regulation, and the outcomes of those experiments, they could shape the future of work for all of us.
So it's like the whole world's running these different AI experiments, and we're all kind of like holding our breath.
Yeah, waiting to see which ones work out and which ones maybe blow up in our faces.
Okay, so we've got to take a world tour here, AI style. Let's start with Europe. They seem to be kind of leading the charge when it comes to AI regulations.
They are. They are. Europe's approach is very much centered on protecting citizens' rights
Okay.
and making sure AI is developed and used, ethically.
Yeah, we've been hearing a lot about the EU's AI Act.
Right, the AI Act.
What's the gist of that, and how does it actually aim to protect jobs?
Okay, so the AI Act it's a big deal. It's meant to regulate AI systems based on how risky they are. So it's like different tiers, right?
Okay.
You've got everything from minimal risk, like your spam filters,
Right.
all the way to high-risk applications.
The serious stuff.
Exactly. The ones used in healthcare, law enforcement, things like that.
Okay. High stakes.
And for that high-risk AI, the Act, it lays down the law, like strict rules about data transparency, human oversight.
So someone's got to be watching the machines.
Exactly. Making sure there's accountability.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like set the ground rules for responsible AI, and the hope is that that'll naturally lead to a more human-centered way of doing automation.
That's the idea. Create a framework where AI can still grow, innovation can happen, but you're also protecting those basic rights and values.
Makes sense. Interesting approach. But let's hop over to Asia now. You mentioned Singapore before. They're kind of taking the opposite approach, right?
Yeah, they're all about full speed ahead on AI.
Like pedal to the metal.
Pretty much. They want to be the global AI hub,
Right.
Attract investment, foster that startup energy.
Okay, so less about rules, more about setting the stage for AI to take off.
Right. Their philosophy is speed and agility, that's what's going to win the AI race. They think too many rules will just slow them down.
So Europe's playing it cautious,
Yeah.
and Singapore's saying move fast and break things. But how's that actually playing out in the real world? Are we seeing the effects of these two different approaches?
It's early days still, but we are starting to see some interesting trends. Like in Europe, some companies are actually picking up and moving their AI development to countries that have, fewer rules.
Oh, wow. So the regulations are actually driving innovation away. That's kind of ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, it does highlight how complicated all this is.
Sure.
On one hand, you want to protect workers. You want AI to be developed ethically. But then there's the other hand, you don't want to squash innovation. You don't want to miss out on the potential benefits.
Right. It's that same balancing act all over again. What about Singapore, though? Are they seeing the AI boon they were hoping for?
They are attracting investment, definitely making progress in areas like fintech and healthcare.
Yeah.
But, and there's always a but, there are concerns about job displacement,
Starting to see it happen.
particularly in those sectors that are that are easier to automate, like manufacturing, transportation.
So even when you go all in on innovation, that job security question, it's still there, looming in the background.
Yeah.
Seems like no matter how you approach it, AI is going to have a huge impact on work.
It absolutely will. And it's not just about, those high-tech jobs either. This is transforming everything from agriculture to retail to even like education.
Okay, so Europe, Asia.
Mhm.
Well, let's zoom in on Africa. They're dealing with some pretty unique challenges and opportunities with AI, right?
Yeah. Definitely. Africa, it's got a rapidly growing population, a very young workforce. They're eager to embrace technology,
Mm-hmm.
but they're also very aware of the risks.
Especially since a lot of African economies, their biggest employer is agriculture.
Mm.
And agriculture, it's ripe for automation. It's not just some programmer losing their job. It's potentially millions of people whose livelihoods depend on farming.
Right. It's a huge concern. But here's the interesting thing. We're seeing a lot of innovation in Africa that's actually focused on using AI to improve those traditional sectors, not just replace them outright.
Oh, that's cool. Like what kind of stuff? Give me some examples.
Okay, so picture this. AI-powered drones helping farmers monitor their crops,
Okay, I can see that.
optimizing irrigation, even detecting pests and diseases like super early on.
Wow.
So it boosts efficiency, but it also frees up the farmers to focus on other tasks.
That's awesome. It's like AI as a tool to empower people, not just push them out. It's making those existing jobs better, not necessarily getting rid of them.
Exactly. And there are other initiatives too, like platforms that connect farmers directly to buyers, using AI. So they cut out the middleman, the farmers get more control over their income.
So it's not about robots taking over the farm, it's about giving the farmers more options. I like that.
And it just goes to show you need a nuanced approach to AI. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Right, you got to look at the context, the specific needs, the potential impact. You can't just slap AI onto everything and call it a day.
Exactly. Which brings us to another big player we haven't talked about yet.
Oh, who's that?
China. Their approach, it's pretty different from both Europe and Singapore.
Oh yeah, China. Always
All
got
right.
to keep an eye on them. What's their game plan with AI and jobs?
Well, they want to be a global AI superpower. That's their goal.
Uh-huh.
So they're pouring money into AI research development, rolling it out across every sector you can think of.
So full steam ahead like Singapore.
In some ways, yeah, but it's more strategic, more coordinated. Like the Chinese government, they're actively shaping how AI is developed and used.
Interesting. But are they worried about people losing their jobs? Or is it all about, economic growth and being number one?
They know there's a risk, but they're more focused on managing that transition. They're not trying to prevent job displacement, they're trying to soften the blow.
So lots of retraining programs.
Yeah, they're even exploring ideas like universal basic income as a possible solution.
So it's more like, okay, AI is going to change things, but let's be prepared for it. Not just, crossing their fingers and hoping for the best.
Right, they're acknowledging that AI is going to shake things up and they're trying to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Position themselves as leaders in this new AI-powered world.
Okay, so we've got Europe being super careful, Singapore saying innovate at all costs, Africa focused on empowering traditional sectors, and then China with their strategic power play. So there's no easy answer when it comes to AI and job security.
There really isn't. And that's what makes this such an important conversation to have. We need to understand all these different viewpoints, look at the risks, look at the opportunities, and really talk this through, so that we can create a future where AI benefits everyone.
Right. It's not about choosing sides. It's about realizing this is a huge deal for all of us.
Exactly. And it comes down to some really fundamental questions. What kind of future do we want? What do we want AI's role to be in our lives, in our work, in society?
And how do we make sure that AI is helping us solve problems, helping us create a more fair and just world, and not just, making things worse?
Those are the questions we need to be asking ourselves, both individually and as a society.
Big questions.
Big questions. And those questions, they lead us to another key part of this whole discussion, the future of work itself.
Right, because it's not just about automating a few tasks here and there. It's changing how we think about work, the skills we need, our entire careers. Okay, so let's dive into that. If AI is reshaping work, what does that mean for us, for our kids, for the next generation? Like, what are the skills that are going to matter most in this new AI-powered world?
That's where things get a little more hopeful, actually, because while AI, yeah, it's going to displace some jobs, it's also going to create new opportunities, and it's going to need new skill sets.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah, not all.
Okay, so what are those skills? What do we need to be learning? What do we need to maybe unlearn?
Well, one of the most important ones is adaptability.
Hmm.
Being able to learn new things quickly, being able to shift gears when you need to, and just being okay with change, you know?
Embracing the chaos.
Pretty much, because
Yeah.
the jobs of tomorrow, they might not even exist today. And the skills that are like hot right now, they might be totally useless in a few years.
Yeah, things move fast. So
Mhm.
adaptability check. What else? What else is going to be crucial in the age of AI?
Creativity, that's a
Yeah.
big one. When AI can do all the routine stuff, what's going to set humans apart is that ability to think outside the box, to come up with new ideas.
So AI can do the grunt work,
Yeah.
but humans still have that spark, that ingenuity.
Exactly. And it's not just about being like an artist, right? It's about being innovative in any field, whether it's science, business, or even like social activism.
So it's about seeing the big picture, making connections that maybe AI can't see. I dig that.
Yeah, it's about finding solutions that a machine might not even be able to imagine.
Cool. So adaptability, creativity. What else?
Mhm.
What about like emotional intelligence? We keep hearing that's going to be a big deal.
It is, especially as we interact with machines more and more. You know,
Hmm.
we need to be even better at understanding and managing our own emotions and understanding the emotions of the people around us.
It's like we got to double down on being human, on those things that AI can't replicate. Empathy, compassion, building real relationships.
Right, because those are the things that are going to make us valuable partners to AI, not just, things that can be replaced.
Okay, so adaptability, creativity, emotional intelligence,
Hmm.
any other key ingredients for thriving in this future of work? What about all the tech skills everyone's talking about? Like, do we all need to become coders or something?
Well, tech skills are important for sure, especially in fields like, actually building AI or analyzing data. But it's not just about like memorizing code or knowing how algorithms work.
So being a tech whiz isn't enough.
Not necessarily, because technology, it's always changing. What's cutting edge today might be obsolete
You
tomorrow.
got to stay ahead of the curve.
Hmm.
So it's more about having a basic understanding of how tech works
Right.
and being able to pick up new tools quickly.
Yeah, and thinking critically about how tech is affecting us, Like not just blindly using it, but really understanding its power. Exactly. And along with those tech skills, we need to develop what I call AI literacy.
AI literacy. I like that with that.
It's basically understanding what AI can do, what it can't do,
Go ahead.
being able to spot like fake information that's created by AI, and
Yeah.
being aware of, the potential biases that AI systems can have.
Right, because AI is built by humans.
Okay.
And humans, we have our own biases.
Exactly. So AI literacy, it's like being an informed citizen of this new AI world. We can't just trust the algorithms blindly. We need to understand how they work, how they're affecting us.
Yeah, it's about being aware, not just, letting the machines run the show.
Exactly. And that leads us to another important skill: ethical awareness. The more we rely on machines, the more we need to think about the ethical side of things.
Right, because AI, it's a tool.
It is.
And a tool can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us, the humans, to make sure that AI is being used responsibly,
That's the key.
ethically, in a way that benefits everyone.
Yeah, you need that understanding of ethics. You got to be willing to ask those tough questions and to hold ourselves accountable, hold our creations accountable.
So it's not just about building cool tech.
No,
It's about building tech that's fair, that lines up with our values.
that's it. And that brings us right back to the central question of this whole discussion. What kind of future are we trying to build here? Do we want AI to just make inequality worse? Do we want it to leave people behind? Or do we want it to actually help us? Help us solve some of the world's biggest problems, create new opportunities, build a world that's actually like more just and equitable.
It feels like there's so much potential, but also so much risk.
It's both. And it really comes down to the choices we make, individually and as a society. We can't just sit back and let AI happen to us.
Right. Got to be proactive.
We have to actively shape this future. And that's where conversations like this come in, sharing information, hearing different points of view, and honestly just asking the tough questions.
Because the more informed we are, the better decisions we can make.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I really want to hear what's stuck with you. What are you thinking about? What are your hopes, your fears about AI? What questions are still swirling around in your head?
Yeah, let's get the conversation going.
Share your thoughts in the comments, join the debate online because honestly, the future of work, the future of humanity even, it kind of depends on it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep shaping the future you want to see.